Whether it's basketball, football,
You route!
or baseball, whatever you're into when it comes to sports, you can find it right here. Now, play my intro.
Now welcome to the Rob Johnson Sports Show, presented by Rob Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
All right, everybody, I'm sorry for that quick delay. My headphones were still connected, so I had to make sure that it was taken off. So I apologize about that. Welcome to the Rob Johnson Sports Show, presented by Rob Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Well, folks, we're here again. We're here to talk about sports. We're here to talk about all the good things that happen with sports. Now, we're not going to switch the top. We're not going to switch the topics up today, but we are going to get into some breaking news. Just got word from Larry Patterson that Kawhi Leonard has withdrew himself from the Olympics, which, you know, it makes sense in a way because of the fact that he's had so many injuries over the years. So I don't blame him. The Clippers are in a little bit of a bad way right now because they lost Paul George. Speaking of Paul George, let's talk about Paul George and let's talk about this right here. This is my graphic. I hope you like it. Yeah, he's all about the money. Paul George, all about the money. But you know what? I can't blame him. If you all heard the reports, the Los Angeles Clippers only offered Paul George, I believe it was a 2-year, $60 million deal. Very disrespectful because of the player that Paul George is. Now, if you're the Clippers, are you sending a bigger message? Are you saying that we need to draft better? Are you saying that we need to go after younger players? Kawhi Leonard leaving the Olympics to not participate could be a big sign of that. The way I look at it, folks, when I look at Paul George is, what can Paul George do to make the Philadelphia 76ers better? Besides being healthy, besides being on the court, besides being able to have that camaraderie between himself, Joel Embiid, and Maxey. See, we've seen this. I've told you guys this before. We've seen this story before. We've seen where Paul George was with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were supposed to have a super team. It was him, Carmelo, and I believe it was Russell Westbrook. It did not work out. Then he goes to the Los Angeles Clippers. He's supposed to be this big-time signing. They're supposed to get to the NBA Finals. They're supposed to finally break out of the Lakers' shadow. It didn't happen. None of it happened. So the way I look at it, folks, when I look at Paul George is, and we have to go through some history here. When you look at the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers last championship, folks, was in the 1982-83 season. In the 82-83 season, Moses Malone was the MVP. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers 4-0. Okay, in that season, in 1982-83, they were first in the Eastern Conference. They were 65-17 that year. Okay. That year, again, they were first in the East. Now, from 1982-83 to let's count this out to 1989-90. That's when they were the third. Well, I was gonna say they were the first seed again, but no, they hadn't been a 1 seed. Let's go down the list. Whew. They were not a 1 seed again until the 2000-2001 season. In that season, of course, they went to the NBA Finals and played the Lakers. So in the 82-83 season, the Sixers were the number 1 seed and went to the finals, played the Lakers. In 2000-2001, they were the number 1 seed, went and played the Lakers. So, but that time they didn't win. So they haven't won a championship since 1982-83. Now, you go down the list again. Continue to go down the list. The next time the Sixers were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference was 2021. And what happened there? They lost to the Atlanta Hawks in the semifinals. They have not been a number 1 seed since. So They have not been a number one seed since then. So, what you have to ask yourself, if you're Paul George, what are you going to change? What are you going to change about this Philadelphia 76ers team? Are you going to get Joel Embiid to be more encouraged when it comes to playoff time? He's already encouraged, but when he starts getting those injuries, when he starts getting those tummy aches, what is Paul George going to do that's going to set him apart from any other player? The Sixers were close, folks, a couple of times. Yeah, and I could argue when Jimmy Butler was on the team, that's when they should have done it. If they didn't do it when Jimmy Butler was on the team, just what the hell do you think a 34-year-old injured Paul George is going to do? We got to be real with ourselves, folks. Paul George ain't LeBron. If Paul George when he was with the Pacers, if he had beaten LeBron back in the day, we could say, yeah, man, this guy has the traits to be that key player that you need. We just saw him with the Clippers, guys. When Kawhi Leonard was out, he couldn't do anything. When Kawhi Leonard was hurt, what happened to the Clippers? The Clippers were picked by everyone to go on and possibly win an NBA Finals. But what happened? They didn't get it done. Paul George didn't get it done. PG-13. He plays in kids movies. He's not rated R. He's not XXX. He's PG-13. Right? The kids can go enjoy the movie, no cursing. There's no hardcore action. There's just PG-13. And every time we see PG-13 in the big moment, he does not show up for the big moment. He doesn't. I mean, hell, Damian Lillard has shown up for bigger moments than Paul George. And I like Paul George, and I think he's a great defender. And I think Joel Embiid is an all-time great big man. But what evidence have we seen that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to get it done this year? What evidence have we seen? I mean, look, guys, the Bucks are going to get better. The Boston Celtics aren't going anywhere. I don't know if you guys forgot or not. The Indiana Pacers aren't going anywhere. These teams are going to be here. The East is going to get better. The New York Knicks got to 7 games with half the damn roster hurt. They didn't even have a full roster against Philly. They still beat Philly in 6 games. Come on, guys. Come on now. You got to be honest with ourselves. When are we going to start blaming Joel Embiid? Because you know what's going to happen here, folks. Eventually, Joel Embiid is going to blame somebody. It's going to be Paul George's fault. It's going to be Tyrese Maxey's fault. It's going to be Eric Gordon's fault. It's going to be somebody's fault other than Joel Embiid. And then the elephant in the room is Daryl Morey. What has Daryl Morey done? What championships has he brought? Yes, he makes a lot of big splash moves. But what result? And I hear Laker fans like, oh, my God, we can't win, blah, blah, blah. Lakers. The Lakers have how many championships in the last 24 years? What is it? What? They won a three-peat. They won a three-peat in the early 2000s. Kobe won 2 championships with Gasol. They won one for LeBron. How many championships did the Sixers have in the past 24 years? 0 to 6. Come on, guys. Come on now. I mean, let's be real with ourselves. Paul George is not going to make the difference. Paul George is not going to make the difference in this team getting to an NBA Finals. You better hope that they stay healthy. Hell, you better hope Joel Embiid stays healthy throughout the Olympic process. Speaking of the Olympic process, tonight on FS1, we got the United States versus Canada. What I'm looking for in this matchup, I'm looking for the United States to come out defensively. I'm looking for them to play tough defense. Some of the older guys like the LeBrons and Stephs, they don't need to play too much. This needs to be taken over by Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man. This needs to be taken over by the younger guys. They need to show what they got because they are the next generation of players. LeBron, Steph, and those guys, they can't be here forever. You know, the time is now for the new guys to step up, for the new blood to step up. And if you're going to step up, you start stepping up tonight against Canada. You cannot lose to Canada because I'm telling you, the slander is going to be horrible. You cannot lose to Canada. And that's the bottom line. You cannot lose to Canada. So come out tonight. The stars should be the stars. but let the young guys, Anthony Edwards, let the young guys do what they're supposed to do. Let them play their style of basketball. The world has gotten better. However, even though the world has gotten better, and even though they lost Kawhi Leonard, who pulled himself out of the Olympics, and Kevin Durant, who's not playing because of I believe, like a little calf strain or whatnot. I'm not gonna say little calf strain because those calf strains are nothing to play with. They should still win this game, and they should still win it by at least 15 to 20 points, in my opinion. If you're the United States USA basketball team. Now, let's get to our next topic here. Let's get to an MLB update. Ladies and gentlemen, right now in the Major League Baseball, there is a story that is just, to me, is a huge story. When you talk about Chris Sale, when he was left for dead, he left Boston, he was left for dead. Nobody thought that Chris Sale would ever be what Chris Sale was going to be again. What did he do, folks? He won 12 games. Last night, beat the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona, a very tough place to play baseball. The Braves are 7.5 games out. They're not catching the Phillies. Okay, let's get that understood now. They're not catching the Phillies. But the Phillies are going to have a tough road in the playoffs. So you have to deal with the Dodgers, the Brewers, who are the top 3 seeds right now, who lead their divisions. And then you have in the wild card the Braves, the Cardinals, and the Padres. The Padres are going to be a headache for anybody. The Braves are 4.5, but the Padres, their lead is at 0. So basically right now the Mets are a game and a half back. The Diamondbacks are 2.5 back. The Giants are 2.5 back. The Pirates are 3 back. And the Reds are 3.5 back. Second half, I would love to see the Cincinnati Reds make that push. But the team I would especially like to see make that push is the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're one of the hottest teams right now in baseball. They're playing really good. They're playing really good ball. They got some really good talent on that team. As I'm loading his name, you got Skeens right now, who is taking the world by fire. In fact, I'm going to talk about Paul Skeens on the Robb Johnson Sports Show episode 63 with Larry Patterson. That's going to actually be my tell the world because I have a message for baseball. Definitely have a message for baseball. He's 6'6", he's 235. He's out of LSU. He's 22 years old. He won't be 23, guys, until he won't be 23 until next May. So, and they're 5-5 in their last 10. They're playing decent baseball. But, if you are the Major League Baseball right now, and like I said, I'll get more into that this weekend about how this guy must start in the All-Star game. I'll talk about that. I'm already going to give you that preview that he must start in the All-Star game. If we go to the standings right now of the American League, we look at the Baltimore Orioles. They're up 3 games on the Yankees, who are sliding big time. The Boston Red Sox are now only 3.5 games back behind the Yankees. I warned Yankee fans. I told them that the Boston Red Sox were coming, and they're only 3.5 back. The Yankees got to get it together. They are 3-10. They've lost out of the last 10 games. They've lost 7 of those. So they've only won 3. They've only won 3 out of the last 7 in their last 10. 2-game losing streak for the New York Yankees. They got to get their stuff together and quickly. The Guardians are up 5.5 on the Twins. The Twins are still hanging in there tough. The Mariners are only up 2 games on the Astros. And here come the Texas Rangers, only back 5.5 games from the division lead. Again, we already mentioned the Phillies. They're up 7.5 on the Braves. The Milwaukee Brewers, they're only up 4 games now on the St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals, Busch Stadium in the summertime, going for division championships into fall. It's nothing like it, folks. It's nothing like it. The Los Angeles Dodgers, their lead on the San Diego Padres is only down to 7.5 games. The Dodgers have issues right now, and they're going to have to work through those issues. Now, is it good they're not going to be probably winning over 100 games, dominating? Yes. But also, you have to look at it. They miss Mookie Betts. I think people underestimate the importance of a Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is very, very important. And I believe that his absence has really hurt the Dodgers, not only on the field, but from a leadership standpoint. And I think that's very critical in baseball, and sometimes people forget about it. So those are the standings. Me and Larry will be talking more baseball as time goes on. Next subject, we have Drew Lock versus Daniel Jones. I need the perspective from Giants fans. How do you feel about this? And I thought I would bring this up because I just feel that if you are a Giants fan, beyond 2024, going to the 2025 season, do you really have confidence that Daniel Jones can be your quarterback? Do you have confidence that Drew Lock could be your quarterback? Do you start Drew Lock over Daniel Jones? Do you see what you have in Drew Lock so that you could possibly, I don't know who the hell would trade for Daniel Jones, but do you possibly let Drew Lock start if he proves he's the man and see what he can do? He didn't have the greatest stats last year. If I go back to Drew Lock's stats from last year, of course, he played with Seattle. He didn't play very well. I mean, he only had, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His career, he's got 20 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. 2020 was his best year with 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. He's never had a season where he's had more interceptions than touchdowns. Or most of those years, he's tied 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, two interceptions, 2 touchdowns, and then 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the 2019 season. I guess what I'm saying here, folks, is this. Do you need to see the Giants play these guys out, play Daniel Jones out to see what he can do? Because you know in the 2025 NFL draft who's coming. You know Shedeur Sanders is coming. You know Carson Beck is coming. Quinn Ewers is also coming. Do not sleep on Cam Ward out of the University of Miami. He went from Washington to Miami. Cam Ward is a really good quarterback. I'm giving everybody that warning now. DJ Ungale, who was at Clemson, he went to Oregon State. He's improving. He goes to Florida State to play this year, I believe, for his senior season. What if he comes out and has a great year? What if he comes out and dominates? You have to consider him because coming into college, he was considered a top prospect. So you have to ask yourself, if you're a Giants fan, who do you start? And just because Daniel Jones is making the money he's making, that should not matter. It should matter all about his play. How is the offensive line playing? And do you want to risk him getting hurt again? Because last year, folks, let's be honest, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The season started out absolutely horrible with that debacle against Dallas. Yes, he played very well when they came all the way back against the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, Kyler Murray was not playing at that point, so you have to expect him to come back in that game when the Cardinals were just a bipolar team last year, folks. Let's be honest. They beat some really good teams, and then they lost some questionable games. So the Giants took advantage of that. They won that game. They damn near beat the Buffalo Bills, which I'm still baffled about, but I'm not because Tyrod was playing. Why they didn't keep Tyrod Taylor, I couldn't tell you. I don't know why, but they decided to bring in Drew Lock. Tyrod is now with the Jets. So if Aaron Rodgers does go down, I think they have a better shot of actually winning games behind the arm of Tyrod Taylor, who has to be considered one of the better backups we've ever seen in the National Football League. He's not the best. I'm not saying he's number 1, but I'm saying as far as backups, as far as guys who should have got more opportunities and has had bad luck, Tyrod Taylor is definitely in that company because that guy has done some good things in this league. Daniel Jones for his career, 62 touchdowns, 40 interceptions. Not bad, but then when you look at his first year, that 24-12 season, that kind of set him up to have the numbers he has now. Then after he had the 2022 year where he had 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, the Giants paid him instead of paying Saquon Barkley, which to this day I still don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me, not whatsoever. Saquon Barkley did everything he was supposed to do for the team. I wasn't a big fan of his because I didn't think that he should have gone number 2. But he was in your building. You guys did not do what you were supposed to do as far as taking care of him. So now you're stuck with Daniel Jones. So that's my question for Giants fans. Who do you play? Do you play Drew Lock? Do you play Daniel Jones? Who do you think, Giant fans, who gives you a better chance to win? Now, you have Malik Neighbors in that wide receiver room. You got Jalen Hyatt. You've got other really good, decent wide receivers. The Giants have weapons. They just have to protect their quarterback. And as we saw last year with Tyrod Taylor, you know, it wasn't all the offensive line. It was Daniel Jones holding the ball entirely too long, making bad decisions. So eventually we got to stop the excuses for Daniel Jones and just say, look, he's just not a good quarterback. But we'll give him another year, I guess, and then we'll give Drew Lock an opportunity as well. So we'll see how it goes, folks. But for me, the way I feel about it, the Giants should have a really good defense. Their team should be better than what people think they're supposed to be. But again, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But let's go to our last segment, folks. We're going to tell the world how we feel, and this is going to be a doozy. So I was watching the Playmaker earlier talk about the WNBA. It's an absolute embarrassment what the WNBA did today. You have the Liberty against the Connecticut Sun at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. The two best teams in the National Women's Basketball Association. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever play at 12. Well, I'm just going to give you guys a warning now. It says NBA TV, but it's going to be on Money Man because the last time we played the Washington Mystics, the game was blacked out. So at 12 o'clock, you have the Dream against the Sky. You have a young lady named Angel Reese who has, 12, 13 consecutive double-doubles. The record for double-doubles in a season, I believe, is by Tina Charles with 24 in a season. She's going after that mark, and she doesn't get a TV game? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You got the Aces playing later on today. Asia Wilson, one of the best players in the league. And everybody keeps blaming and saying that this stuff between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and it's dividing people. No, it's not dividing anybody. It has nothing to do with Angel Reese. It has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It has to do with the national media out there. It has to do with the WNBA. They, in my opinion, are marketing this way. They're doing stuff like this to get people riled up, to get people fired up. I believe they're doing that. Because if you look online, folks, it's nasty. Every time you look, every time Angel Reese has a post about her, they gotta talk about Caitlin Clark. Man, I'm telling you folks now, it is getting so annoying. We can't even have a post where we're talking about that one player. It's like back in the day when we had 50 Cent and Ja Rule. Every time we talk about Ja Rule, we had to talk about 50 Cent. Every time we talk about 50 Cent, we talk about Ja Rule. Every time we talk about Biggie, we had to talk about Tupac. Every time we talk about Tupac, we had to talk about Biggie. And it's just annoying because people are so stupid. But nobody is as stupid right now as what I'm not going to call WNBA stupid. But what I will say is this. How do you have your two best teams coming on at 11 a.m.? How do they not even get? I understand these schedules were put out early, but come on, folks. The Liberty, Breanna Stewart, a four-time NCAA champion, won 2 or 3 WNBA championships with the Seattle Storm. I believe it's 3. I have to make sure I have the right numbers, but to me, it's ultimately ridiculous how these women keep getting disrespected. And it's bad enough that they got to deal with the public who continues to be complete a-holes when it comes to these women and just disrespecting them. It's horrible. And to clarify, Breanna Stewart is a 2-time WNBA champion, a 2-time WNBA NBA Finals MVP, a 2-time WNBA MVP, 6-time All-Star, WNBA Rookie of the Year, scoring leader in 2022, 5-time NBA First Team, All WNBA Second Team in 2016. You disrespect Breanna Stewart. So Breanna Stewart looks just like Caitlin Clark. So to me, folks, it's not about race. It's about ignorance. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with ignorance. You have a woman in Breanna Stewart who is this accomplished and can't even get a national TV game against the best team in the WNBA, but you're going to give us the Mystics? The Mystics against the Fever? The same Mystics who passed over Angel Reese? I guarantee you this. I guarantee you the Mystics had drafted Angel Reese. I guarantee you this game ain't coming on at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday. I guarantee you. That's a slap in the face. And this is my suggestion to all the women out there, all the women in WNBA who are going to the Olympics, who are playing WNBA. Protest the Olympics. Don't go. Because every time the women have been dominating for so long and keep getting disrespected. They keep getting disrespected by not only their own league, but their own country. You know, getting called out their name, getting called this and that, disrespectful names. This is my suggestion to WNBA players. Protest the Olympics. Finish the season out, but go on strike. Go on strike. Why not? Why keep putting yourself out there and putting the best brand of basketball you can when your own league doesn't even really give a damn about what happens? All they care about is the golden goose. That's all they care about. They don't care about the fact that this league is rich in history, that Teresa Weatherspoon, who hit one of the greatest shots in WNBA Finals history when she hit the half court to beat the Houston Comets in front of a packed house. It was, I believe, it was the Toyota Center. It was packed. So all these people talk about, oh, Indiana, they're just bringing people to the stands. There have been people in the stands. Did you watch the Minnesota Lynx when they were packing that house out? They're packing that house out when Maya Moore was there? Did you see the WNBA Finals last year? And again, this is not a diss at Caitlin Clark. See, the problem is, if you even make a criticism towards Caitlin Clark, people want to call everything under the sun. This is not Caitlin Clark's fault. This is the people who are trying to take advantage of the Caitlin Clark era. It is the media who saw something. And let's be clear, there would be no Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry if Angel Reese had not done this. That's when it started. But remember, Caitlin Clark was doing this too. She was doing that too. But just also remember this, folks. No matter what you think about Angel Reese at the end of the day is a champion. Caitlin Clark is not. That's the facts. If you don't like it, don't watch. Get over it. The facts are the facts. Angel Reese is a champion. They said that her game wouldn't translate. They dissed her coming into the league. And now 6 other teams that could have had her, including the Sparks, where she would have been huge in LA and she would have been huge in Washington, D.C. Now they got to sit back and say, damn, we could have had the double queen. But instead, we're just mediocre. Hey, it is what it is. The WNBA doesn't want to give Angel Reese her shine. They're taking a big crap on her by putting her at noon today, not even putting her game on television. That's okay. She'll continue to ball out. Caitlin Clark will continue to ball out. Everyone in the WNBA will continue to ball out. Asia Wilson will continue to have an MVP type season. The league office of the WNBA has got to be better. They don't do a good job of marketing their certain players. I'm not going to get into that because, no, it's not about race, but there are just some things that are just true. They don't do a good job of marketing some players. You have a player like Angel Reese who came in beautiful, talented, can play basketball, but yet still people want to shame her. And it's at that point, you have no other choice but to think it's about, you have no other choice at that point, right? Because what about Angel Reese is, this is the thing about Angel Reese that kills me, right? If Angel Reese came into the league and just didn't get any rebounds and was just scared off the ball, everybody would want to call her lazy. See, that's the problem. People are so upset because they can't call that young lady lazy. You can't call her lazy. You know why? She goes up. And people are talking about, oh, it shouldn't count if she gets her own rebounds. Do you know how stupid you sound by saying that her rebounds shouldn't count because she gets her own rebounds? That's called effort, folks. I can guarantee you, if the roles were reversed, they would call it hard working. They would call it just pulling up by your bootstraps and all that other crap. Listen, folks, I don't make the rules. It is what it is. Don't get upset at me because I didn't make the game. Look back at the old ancestors. They made the game. They made the culture. I didn't. I'm just following the rules. You all have a great day. Bye now.
It's caught in the crossfire.